everyone, you're watching Jana FX. In this video, as usual, technical analysis for the coming week. We'll have a look at main pairs, important levels, possible entry points, and if you're interested in Bitcoin, it is right at the end of the video. This week was quite profitable. All the screenshots which I sent, my signals, closed with profits, except dollar Canadian. This pair is still floating. Okay, so let's start with euro dollar, see what happened and what to expect. So as from the previous video, I was expecting it to continue the way down. Yes, I'm still bearish with the pairs against dollar, and we can see it's pretty much touched 117, not exactly, but it was very close, right? And then it started to go for a bit of a correction, actually created a little bullish flag, and then we had news on Friday which were not very good for American dollar, and you see the pair had an advantage to actually go against it, right? Like jump up. Okay, so the pair is actually back to 118, and so now, so quite possible it's just a reaction on the news, and with the opening of the market I can expect it could be a gap, right? It could continue the way up, and at the same time, of course, I will not exclude that we will start to go for correction of this movement or continue the way down, right? Like as we are in a downtrend. So if you look on the daily chart, so you can see we do have this level which is it's broke, the pair broke it previous week, and now you see it came back, but it stays right underneath it. So that's why I'm still kind of a little bit bearish. It could be like breaking, pull back, and continue the way down. But like I'm saying, with the news, next week will be news again for American dollar, so quite possible maybe the euro will take an advantage of this news and still continue the way up, right? Before the next one, and before the next news, it might start to have a bit of consolidation, and then the next news will show the next direction. So you see, the point is we can move this level, right? So that's why what can happen, it looks like now we're in a bit bigger downtrend channel. So even if it will break 118, go possibly next one 1850, maybe 1848, I have a level here plus minus, right? So it might go here and stuck around this, or maybe sit in this area before the next news, even though it will be above the level. So of course this quite possibly could be trying to reverse, you know, like to go back up. So it depends what's the news. So that's why at this moment I'm going to just leave it as it is. It just so for you to understand what I'm up to and how I look at it, and I'm going to leave it here. And my next possible entry points, of course, if the market will open quietly, no jumps, nothing. You see, it started to consolidate in this area. I'm going to place my pending order buy from here and pending order sell from here to expect it will continue the way up. It might go slightly in the middle somewhere, then from here like have a bit more correction, continue, or maybe they'll just like continue all the way to the next level and then prepare for the next news. So either this area, who knows, higher, or maybe go back again, we will see. But that's the first original area. So from here, of course, if I will looking at the sell, I can imagine it might go also like in the middle, have a bit of a correction on this movement, and then I might start to try to go up again, or maybe it'll just stuck in here. You see, at this moment it could be any positions, and we can see that's quite a lot of reaction. It was very slow moving down, right? Slowly go and preparing for those news, and only the news gave this nice movement. So that's why it's quite possible it might go for that little correction, and maybe even slow down a little bit, started to go back up again, and then when the next news comes, then it will have a big move, or reasonable move, right? So that's why, guys, like I'm saying, this is the first one to look at. Then if it goes in the middle somewhere here, if it goes further again 117 or somewhere high, we will see what to do next. Pound dollar, so finally it's kind of like going down inside this channel, which you see on a bigger time frame looks like a nice bullish flag. It still looks like a bullish flag, so as I expected here, I was telling you, it started to already look like it, but I wanted it to go a little bit lower, so it went down to 138.50. See, it had a bit of a jump. It didn't give us like little consolidation with the little pins to try to go back up nicely, like in this area. See, this actually quite nice in here was. So it went down to 138, up again, and at this moment still looking like a bullish flag, very strong bullish flag. So would it be a false bullish flag or a real one? To be honest, with the news at this moment reaction, I more towards that quite possibly it will continue the way up, will try to break it and actually go as a little bit of this bullish flag, and I will not be surprised if it might have a higher move to the next, like 140, even 141, except it's really strong. I mean, it can happen. You see, we had previously this very strong move, and it's well, about 200 pips, not sure about it in a straight way, but if some bad American news again, it might make it, okay, it might start to go up, have a bit of a correction or consolidation, then another bad news for America, and pound can continue the way up. At this moment, the situation with COVID is like, okay, not like great, not too bad, and because of that, and news for pound will be also this week, so maybe they will also help. That's why I can see that pound might have this move up. And so the first we have looking like as a bullish flag, then it's also like the previous like a shoulder, so that's why I will not be excluding that it could be that shoulder. And but I think so that would be, and you see at this at the same time it does look like an upside down head and shoulders, you see, so it's a lot of points towards going up. And but my main picture with pound still bearish, okay, so I see that quite possibly it can go something like this, but I don't think it will be going high and trying to break the previous top, because I think that pound is still weak because of uncertainty with Brexit, which probably after August, September, October they will start talking about it, and probably they will be worried about the COVID. And I think if there will be not very nice talkings about Brexit, and worsening situation with COVID, I mean, like probably not as bad as it was, but who knows, then my main picture would be it goes up like now in the short term, and then started to go back down again, and maybe, who knows, even go still further. So you see, like, that's how I see it, more towards down. We still have pins here, so that's technically we have another pin now here, and that's why to me, if it will go like to this pin and get further and further, so by the end of the year I would not be surprised to see it around 131. And I think like only from that, when they will finally will be done with COVID, and because you see closer to winter it probably will start to pick up, but I think afterwards with a bit better understanding what's happening with Brexit, what's happening with COVID, and what started to happening with the economy, then I think it started to pick up. That's how I see it at this moment. I don't see it much go straight away and breaking and go to like 150, right? My expectation was, when I was talking about like taking all restrictions out and calming down completely with COVID. So we still do have Brexit, but the COVID out of the way. But at this moment we still have COVID on the way, and the Brexit talks still have not finished, right, after Brexit. So that's why I'm still a bit bearish with pound. Okay, so at this moment that's my my view. Of course it can change, so like you see, like anything can happen in this COVID situation, Brexit situation, after Brexit discussions. They still have those conflict with EU. That's why you see on the short term, I think expecting it still to going up, and like double bottom also created here. So I will be looking at possible placing the buy orders. Okay, so I see here, if the market opens like, okay, not jump, so no gaps or anything, it'll just sit and like in this area, like give a little bit of maybe bullish flag on this 1 hour chart, then I will be looking at placing the buy orders. Of course, possibly could place the sell, but I see that the danger here, it could just go down a little bit, and then it's a correction of this movement. Okay, so it might go down as a correction of this movement, stop in the middle somewhere, and then started to climb up again before those news events happening. Okay, so that's what I see. That's why I don't really want to place sell at this point. Okay, in here. On the other hand, it didn't break the previous top, so that's kind of a little bit of a downside, and this bottom is a little bit lower than the previous. So that's why, yeah, in that respect, it kind of shows a little bit more towards down. So what also can happen, like I'm saying, for example, if it's not going to, I mean, another danger, it might have a consolidation, give a pin, and jump back down, right? But again, it might go somewhere in the middle. So maybe the next opportunity would be to go somewhere in the middle and stop here, like leave a little pins like here, like stop a little bit, then place an order buy from here and expecting it to break this level and trying to actually go higher to break those tops, and then maybe like 139, and then from that again correcting, go to 138.50 or somewhere in the middle where it was here, and then started to break 139. So that's the some of the scenarios I can see, right? So of course, if it will just turn around, then I'll see what to do. So right, because like I'm saying, pretty much I probably will be waiting where it's going to be after this, before the news for American dollar and for the pound. Okay, so then I will have a look where to go for the next possible entry points. But the first my action is going to be walking around this area, somewhere in the middle, and then it's all going to change if it will go down. I mean, you see what can also happen. It might open with straight away jump up and down, right? And if that happens, you see from that it might continue the way down again, stop in the middle, and then try to turn around. Again, it might have a jump back, have a sitting consolidation, and still trying to go up and cover the pin if it's going to create a pin. Okay, so that's why you need to see when the market opens. But that's the ideas of what to do and what to look at and how to work with it. So that's my kind of ideas, what I'm going to do. Australian dollar wasn't really fantastic, I have to say. I think I didn't even have any trades. I don't to be honest, I don't remember if I had any, because it wasn't something I didn't like, and I decided not to go for it. I think so, unless I had maybe very small profit, I don't know. So in here, you remember I was looking at as a possible bearish flag. So you see it's tried to break out, but trying to go back in. I mean, this moment is closed behind it, but maybe if the Friday news reaction, still it might still go back in. I probably wouldn't place any orders at this moment. I mean, from here I would say if it's not going to break in, then go down at least to this, reach that previous bottom. Maybe it will decide just to stuck in here before the next news gonna happen. So I look in possible entry point. If it will go inside in this area, that's what I would be looking. This is a bit better option to place buy from here and painting order sell from that level. So a little bit down and a little bit up. And so of course we would need to connect this again to see, well, probably it's like the next one will be a 74.80 something. So that's why maybe the pair will go inside here and start to just sit here. I mean, like with a little bit of jumps ups, and maybe before the news, it would be better to look in for the place and new orders. Okay, so I will be looking at this area. Of course, so if it will fall down to this level, then I will see the 0.73. If it will have consolidation here, maybe I'll try to break it, go back. I think that's how it's going to be with Australian. It's either will sit in here or into there before this next possible news with dollar. Maybe there are some news for Australian will be, but you see this week it was like pretty much nothing interesting. So that's why we will see. I mean, you can see obviously it started to accumulate, getting accumulation. The more it accumulates, the bigger movements it usually creates. So we will just see and wait. But in here I don't want to place any orders. I mean, okay, it could have been, let's say, placed from here, but it's like very, very tiny to get to this level. It's good to the next one, of course, but it might be stopped here or maybe a little bit higher. That's why in this position I don't like it. I want just to see where it's going to go afterwards. Dollar Canadian, this is where I got, you see, I had a sell here, nice. Then I was selling from here because it looked like a little flag. We'll see on the 1 hour chart. Right, a little bearish flag, but you see it decided not to break the previous bottoms and just had actually stopped slightly higher and just started to sit in absolutely nothing, just flat. That's why, okay, I have an open order. I think it will continue the way down. It's more looking that way technically is, in my opinion, because, I mean, I'm not going to do this, but I can connect just a little bit. You see in here, right? So that's now a little bit better picture where we can see that it could be a little bit of a downtrend. So that's why from here, for example, I could have placed a sell, right? And expect, you see from here, like go possibly to this level, which is 50 pips, nice, but possibly breaking that and continue the way down a bit further, right? So then can stop in the middle somewhere or something like that. But you see in this way, because it's breaking this area, it's looking a little bit more down, right? And it also has a little bit looking like a head and shoulders, so more points towards downtrend. So that's why I keep my order still open, and we will see. So so what I with dollar Canadian, my main picture is possibly looking for, you see we're still in a downtrend, right? But this is like started to be a correction, okay? And for it to be stronger continuation, you see we need another bottom, because I can't connect this bottom with any other of these because they're too small, and these are like at this moment just a small corrective move. But we need another bottom, which like you see could be at this moment going down, who knows, somewhere around here, and then it would be possible to get it into something like that, you know, a bit better, stronger, and continue inside this correction, still inside the downtrend channel, right? So that's why I'm just going to remove this for now, because I don't really need it, just to keep it a little bit more clear, but you understand the picture. So my thought is that we will continue the way, possibly breaking this level and go next wherever it will decide to stop. Okay, this level, maybe higher slightly, next level. So we will see, and then I will be able to draw the channel and looking for the next possible entry points. But that if I wouldn't be in a trade, I would place the orders from here. I mean, so it's quite possible, yes, it's creating a little bit of channel to look for a possible, you see it might go up, but it's not, what it could do, it just can go a little bit for small, you know, like a move, because we had this not very good news on Friday, and that's why I think it might just have a little bit up, but still continue the way down, and then next news or something will make it to move next. Okay, so that's kind of my view on dollar Canadian this moment. Dollar yen also pretty much did what expected from the previous week. You see it's created little bullish flag, and I think I sent the screenshots here, right? So you see it's created that and had a buy, and you see with the news it's had a good reaction on the news, went down and came back inside the downtrend channel again. So you see we're still we're still inside the uptrend channel, and at the same time going back in that little downtrend channel. So here I don't want to do anything. I think I'll just see what it's, you see here we had a nice area, and here it's just in the middle and it's like still moving, let's say, and I need for it to stop. So either go for correction, continue the way down, or give me some pattern or anything, and then I will see what I can do. And you see in that level, of course, could be corrected now because you have too high to tops, right? So, but I'm going to leave it here for now because, of course, if it will go back, it could be useful to look for next possible entry point, and then we know that we have another two tops to try to get out from it, right? So, yeah, that's why you see dollar yen at this moment, it's quite uncertain. It's still, let's say, an uptrend channel, but on the short term, it's going back inside this downtrend, you see. So that's what I'm saying. And here we need to see what's next, because you can't really go for sell here straight away, because it might go for correction of this movement, right? And from that correction it might continue, or it might who knows, it might give a double bottom, or maybe like a little bit of triangle, which could also be could also go back up. Okay, so that's why for better it's just to wait for the next way it's going to do, stop or whatever. Okay, pound yen, you see guys, I had here and buys and sells, and here I was telling I would be looking more towards selling, but because it was on top of it, right, it could still continue the way up. And you see the buy orders was, because it's you see after creating that movement, it all looked like a bit more bullish flag, or even like a wedge, right? And so that's why I had here a buy order and I had a sell order, which first I had a small buy. Also I had here a little bit of the buy too. I use this like a little bit of a triangle, which got me into the bad trade. You see I got this movement. You see I was still hoping to get for the smaller trade, smaller profit, but it didn't cover that pin until the end. You see it's covered it up, but did not go high. So I thought it will still go a little bit, get me a little bit in the profit. But I also had a sell order here, which I didn't cancel because I was expecting more. Remember, I was telling you I was more bearish, and so that's why I thought, okay, so it went down, got me into the sell order, and also I had the recovery, so I had the two orders at the same time here, which is like, right, like I'm saying, you always need to look at money management use, how much how big is your account, see, and you see, so it's made all the way back inside the channel again, right? And stopped pretty much where I told you, somewhere in the middle of that movement, right? So it stopped a little bit in here. And so you see, guys, here next possible entry point would be if it will maybe like give a bit of consolidation in this area, and you see you can place actually orders both directions, pending orders buy and pending orders sell. So now I'm going to explain to you. So of course, because we are back into this channel, I still would be more towards downtrend. Okay, still bearish on pound, and also you see it's created double top, and it has this previous shoulder, so that could be had, and another shoulder is already created. So I'm more towards, yes, from here it will go down, and you see, I told you, remember, it can stop here, maybe turn around, and then it could be a turning around point, but to finish this big channel, it might just break it and then continue the way down, have that neck area and go in further, because like with pound dollar, I explained to you why I'm more negative with pound, more bearish, right? More bearish with pound. So that's why it would be more still going down. But at this moment, because there is still no talking about this Brexit and a little bit of, okay, with COVID, you see more going down for pound would be closer to the end of the year, right? Like starting in autumn and slower going to the end of the year. That's why I don't exclude that from here, pound, yen, also pound yen might take an advantage a little bit of the situation with like a little bit COVID, and maybe good news this week for pound. That's why it might still go back up, okay, and it might get into the bit of a triangle. Let's see here, we can connect this to bottom. So if it will not, with opening market, continue the way down, I would be looking at this. It quite possible it can go and get into this triangle. So it might, you know, stuck in here, who knows, and then with something else stronger on the market, then it will be maybe trying to break out. Okay, so it might stuck maybe in a flat area, who knows. But at this moment, you see, I don't exclude the possible of this formation of this big pattern if it's not going to continue inside this downtrend channel. So that's kind of my view on pound yen. So looking at this possible entry point, of course, if it opens in the market and smashes it, I'll see if it will stop by this level, continue down. You see, it can break, go back here, then go backwards, and then continue again. So it's lots of opportunities here with pound yen, lots of good moves. So I'm gonna try to take an advantage of this pair also. So, but the first entry point I will be looking here. Okay, euro pound is expected. You see, it didn't break the level, still holding it. Here we had this, where I was telling you, yeah, could be those little pins. I had a buy order here. I actually had a small trade. I didn't send it because just as I was telling you, I wasn't expecting a big move, and it stopped by this like somewhere in the middle. That's why I went only for a small trade, and I didn't even think it would reach it anyway, and just having like very little profit of it. So with pound, euro pound, the same. I don't see any like big news for one pair or another pair, unless this week pound might have some of this kind of strong news, and it might give a little bit more movements. You see, if the pound will get a little bit stronger this week, obviously euro will fall, but how far and how much, it might go back down to this area again, or maybe it'll try to smash it. So we will see. But I think before the news for pound, I want to see where this is going to be. Will it sit in here? Maybe it will continue way a little bit with the opening of the market, and then started to consolidate somewhere. Then I will be looking to for placing possible orders. But at this moment, you see, okay, it was a good opportunity here. I was hoping it will continue. It didn't, so let's see. It might go back down here, might stay on top of it and try to go up again, or maybe it will try to break it. But I think before the news, I better not to, I just wouldn't go for any other trades, just wait for it. Okay, with gold, look this, guys, just as I was telling you, it's bearish, right? It was my main thought as we came back into our downtrend channel with that big candle. But of course, I did not expect, I would never think it would have such a big drop. It was ridiculous. I mean, a lot of people lost in here. You see, it's like 800 pips movement just without any warning, right? And the huge spreads and slipperage. So I didn't send any screenshots with gold because of the situation. I had some trades. Actually, it worked out well for me on the way back. I didn't catch the move down because, yes, it was dramatic. I couldn't get in. And it was at night, actually, the opening of the market. So I got only an advantage on when I started to move up, but the spread is huge. Actually, one of the brokers I'm trading now, I have a 30 pips spread, and this is in a calm, normal situation, you see, after all of this big mess. So that's why I need to be really careful. If you have small accounts, it's very dangerous. And check out with your broker what spread you have, because I know that like some brokers have like 100 pips spread, and I'm not talking about points, pips. Okay, so it's like 1,000 points and like 300 points I have now. So there's still a way to work with it, you see, guys. But of course, you see, then you need to look for a bigger take profits. And the point is, you see on the screen that the candle is big, but you only might, like, out of that 100 pip candle, you might not even get any profit if you have 100 pip spread. Okay, so that's why I didn't think that it was a good idea to send any screenshots, because you could have troubles, because I was looking at what the spread I have, and like with my spread of 20-30 pips, it was alright to do things. But if your broker had 100 pips spread, you would never make profit, which I was aiming to make. Okay, so that's why I'm not sure at this moment if you want to go for it. For the gold. I'm just going to, okay, now I'm going to give you the picture of idea of what I think to do. Of course, I was, for example, looking for, you see, for these consolidations, and it was looking like a little bit of the bullish flag, and here was consolidation. That's where I was looking for possible entry points, okay? And like I'm saying, but bear in mind, you would not take all the length, like I'm saying, if you have huge spreads. So I got for some profits in here, which was nice. And it's a little bit calmed down, like in here, of course, there is no way was to get in. And I'm looking for next possible consolidation, you see, guys. So my main picture, like I'm saying, you see, at this moment I don't have any entry points, and I'm just waiting for it. But what I'm looking at, okay, so we went down, and I thought actually it will go further and cover this bottom, but no. It decided to stop a little bit higher, and it gives the pin. So obviously it's the indication that the pair will be back, and it will fill in eventually. But first, quite often what happens, it goes in the opposite direction, right? So that's what happens quite a lot. And how long it will go the other direction, right? When it will start to wait for it to go back. So yes, I'm still bearish, and I still think it will go back. So, but now look at this. It's still underneath the previous channel. It's still inside the downtrend, our downtrend channel, right? It broke up a little bit, so I will not be excluding that it might go in further. And so now watch out that this, because it gave us another pin, but still a bottom, because we do use this pin. You see, that was also pin, and then you see it's closed it and covered it. So you see, now I can actually move a little bit to use that pin, that bottom, right? A little bit of like a previous, another, I'm not here, but some like a little one in here, and that one. So basically now it's not looking like it's broke out from the channel at all, isn't it? It's inside still, and even this part is now inside this channel. Okay, so that's why from here it might go all the way up, like whatever, 1831, and even go well, let's say, where is it, a little bit higher, like 1850, something like this, and still be inside this downtrend channel. You see, guys, even if it's like go back a little bit on this uptrend, so it might go up there, then go up to even these highs, give another top, and then from here slowly still continue the way down to trying to cover up this pin it gave. So yeah, but at this moment, because it's already collected all the stops here, right? Of course, it's nothing else, but that's what I said. I thought it will collect these ones too, but maybe they decided to leave it for the next time to get more accumulations, because some people are trying to jump. Now imagine there is a pin. And why they will be going back for it? Because a lot of people were trying to jump in wherever they can, jump in to buy wherever they could. So stops and stops and stops everywhere, all the way here, lots of stops, of course. So that's why it would want to go back and collect all these stops to fill it in, right? So now everybody thinks, yeah, we're going up now, that's it. So lots of stops it's collecting, but it wants to get more, and possibly, like I'm saying, it might want to go and get those stops first. So because now we need to see it's how much it accumulates the up trend, like to go higher to collect all of those stops first, or does it want to, you know, go and start to collect all of those stops. You see, that's how it works in that way. So that's why they might push a little bit more, and like I'm saying, trying to even go and break those stops just to give the illusion that gold is going up, and so they create more and more and more stops accumulate, and then they will turn it around and collect it all, and then slowly start to, you know, recover, okay, because of this sharp move ups and downs. That's what you will be looking at, lots of stops and fools moves to fool people. Okay, so that's why, like I'm saying, it's either better, if you have small accounts, you might be better just to wait when it started to come down a little bit more soft and smooth, and less spread, and then look for those entry points. At this moment it's very uncertain, okay, but like I'm saying, my point is quite possible it might continue the way up. Basically, if that's why I'm saying, if it will start to go higher, then I will move my levels. I want to leave them for now as it is, just to see will it actually try to break up or not. Maybe it will just stay underneath these levels, and then slowly we'll start to try to turn around. But it's gold, it's crazy, right? So that's why let's just wait and see at this moment. So you got my idea about that. First, quite possible a little bit more recovery, and then we will be looking. So we need to find the moment again, the point where it's going to be nice. You see, if you had a sell somewhere around here, which I was telling you about on a bigger picture, you could have a really nice profit right now, right? When it's actually fall, you are inside a good profit, except you probably wouldn't be able to get out here easily, somewhere maybe higher when you would have expected, but still, if the sell was open, you could still have a really nice one. So that's why let's see where it's going to stop, and maybe I will send the screenshots, but like I'm warning again, be careful with the spreads you have, okay? If I will not make a note of it, but I warned you in the video, okay? So it would be for my broker, with my possible spread, okay? It would be completely different to wherever you are trading. So yeah, that's the view. Just giving you again long videos, wanted it to be short, but with all of these interesting movements, it's very hard because I want to get you the picture and see where I am and what I'm thinking. So oil, let's do it fast, quick, except oil you see is still stuck the same area as I was warning you also about, because it's a downtrend and uptrend at the same time. I was telling you about this area, right? So it could go down and can go up, and it's exactly what it did this week. It went down and went up again. Not big moves, and see, it's opened with the gap, jump it, stopped by this level and came back. And you see a lot of people would do what? Buy here straight away. So yeah, it went down, come back, so I want to buy now, so it's going to go back. It's quite a lot of, quite often this is what happens, right? So of course now in here, I also look at it, oh yeah, okay, it's jumped out and then come back. Then I would be also thinking it's could be possible to go for buy. But you see, for me, I would rather to wait for this a little bit more of accumulation. Okay, it came back, but we need a little bit more correction, accumulation, and then quite possible continuation of up, right? So you see, but at the same time, it's still trying to go back down again. So for me, the best entry point would be if it will sit around here somewhere, and then I would be looking at it, placing the orders buy and the sell. So if we see from here, it will go back and start to sit nicely in here. Of course, I would be like a little bit more towards that it wants to go back up, if it will be like, you know, trying to still sit on that edge. And well, depends what else is going to be there. So yeah, and you see, that's how it would look. The first possible entry point for me would be here. if, for example, the opening market and then it will continue the way down just slowly, wherever to the next level, or would be stopped by this channel, yeah, then quite possibly to look for the next possible entry point. Also would be more looking like towards buying, because then it would be nice, went down, right, had enough, and then looking inside this one's also go for the correction inside there. So then we're looking for a possible buy. So something like this. But you see, it could be a little bit of the battlefield, might have jumps, ups and downs. So a little bit kind of, you see, that's what I'm saying, this area, because of the both, and this looks, it could create a bit of a triangle, right? Like trying to get out from this channel, which you would think, oh, I'm out, I'm sitting on top of this level, so you know, it might say, oh yeah, now it's going to continue the way down, but no, it could be still a triangle, you see. And then, for example, from this point of entry, you might go back down to this entry point, okay? So if it will sit and does something like this, then you could go for that. So you see, it needs a bit of accumulation. After that, it probably will have a nice move, but at this moment it might be just small. I don't know if there will be any news for oil. Just see if there are news for oil, just see where it's going to consolidate, and then go for it. So at this moment, I just wait for either go inside in here or trying to go back down, breaking that level, and then see where it's going to stop. So that's my kind of view with oil. With Bitcoin, see guys, is expected, right? So from here it's still continued. Here it started a little bit like thinking with some corrections, but still reached our level as expected. But remember, I was telling you, technically we need that top and we need another bottom so we can connect it and turn around. So yes, fundamentally what they're saying, that it's quite possible that the good news for Bitcoin, right? So it's like I'm saying, in the longer terms, I see it's yes going higher up, but technically it's still inside this bearish channel. It's just technically. And so like I was telling you, like we had another picture, it's also looked, it could have been another bottom, and from the previous bottom, so yes, all the way up, right? But we're looking on a smaller one, so that's why on the long term we already got some Bitcoins, right? Not like trading it and just going to sit with it wherever, and if it will drop somewhere, I'm pretty much sure in a bit of a long future it still will go higher. Like they think about 100,000, I think it will reach at some point, it will do so. How fast? That's the question. And depends on what else they're going to say. At this moment there is still nothing was super duper to move it another like whatever hundreds of thousand points. Okay, so let's talk about technically, and if you're trading in the smaller time frames. So like I'm saying, you see at this moment where I got this level from the previous bottom, so it stopped. It could be a resistance, so this is where it could be another the top. Okay, so it might create a top, then go down a bit for that correction, and if it might stop here, or maybe even further, and stopping. So actually it would be more like nice technically if it will go for correction in here. Well, you know, Fibonacci levels, the beta would be 60 something, right? So that's quite easily could be something 60, and then stops and gives that little bottom, and then we would be able to connect that bottom with that other bottom and reverse it inside this downtrend channel, right? So we will be reversing it and looking towards it, like finally going something like this, bigger, and then eventually trying to get to this top. Okay, so that's the one of the scenarios I have in mind. So another one, if still it's more positive, it goes and smashes it, right? Smashes 50, go higher, maybe this level, that previous, another like top where it's like about 60, right? And then from there started to drop again, or maybe it will go in all the way from the previous top. I'm just like saying, it's like still not expecting it, breaking it very fast. So it might go to wherever in the middle here, or even higher, and then still give us a bit of a correction, right? Still give us another top, and still give us a bit of a bottom, right? Like it was here, still we had some, right? So that's why it would be quite strong actually if it will break it, then give us that next top on top of this downtrend channel. It could be even lower somewhere, but still on top of it, not going inside it. Then it would be a little bit quite strong one that we are going up, and we will be smashing the previous tops. Okay, so that's one again the same picture, reached it here. So first thing, expectation, a possible first top is here. Okay, so that would be first, a possibility of having a top here. It's for the slow move for the Bitcoin, right? So it's top here, then we're going for a bit of a correction. Next, bottom, connecting the bottoms and bottoms, and trying to turn it around outside of this bearish trend channel and slowly moving it up, and then slowly it started to continue nicely climbing. Okay, so that you see this, I see two options. So how to play with it? You see, if we're thinking, if you're positive with it, you have enough of the account, you can possibly buy every time it goes down, right? Every time it goes for correction. So for example, the first option would be wait for it for a bit of a correction, and then look for the buy. Of course, like I'm saying, it might not to have those big moves. You see, on the smaller time frame, it stops at the previous top, so maybe it will start to sit and accumulate here. So then you can place your buy orders, but the danger could give a pin. You see, it might have a jump and still come back and then go down a little bit, still creating a top here, right, with the pin and coming back. So maybe it will have like, well, I mean, it's creating now top, and maybe this is a double top and still trying to break down. So you can place maybe buy order somewhere around here and sell order from somewhere around this level, right? So not right now, because it might go just down a little bit, and you see it's been using this trend level, so that's why it might stop again here and then try to go back. So that's why, for example, this area could be nice to look at possible opportunities, placing in both directions orders, buy and sell. Just depends how it will sit and accumulate, okay, for the accumulation. So you can do something like that. Again, like you're trading with the stop, so maybe you're locking, or if you are like, you place your just buy order, it jumps and you're trading without the stops, and you have big enough account, to hold if it might decide to fall. But just listen if there are any news going through, because at this moment it's just like quiet, and with the everything at this moment we have, it's like more like nicely moving in the technical view. But you see, in the technical view, nicely moving, it could be still a drop. Okay, so that's why it could be a bit risky to buy it. And if it will have a correction, right, because we're always waiting for the corrections, then depends like how big is your account, you might not have enough funds there and you're going to blow it. Okay, so that's what could be dangerous if you are doing it this way, because at this moment it's you can't do anything here. It's better not to, because you really need for a little bit more of accumulation. You see, it's obviously it's stopped by that area, by that level. You see, it stopped right, got underneath it. That's why I better wait for it a little bit and see consolidation, and then you can place the orders. Like I'm saying, depends both directions with the stops, or if you are locking it without the stops, and see what happens next. So that's kind of my picture and point with Bitcoin. That's how I see it. So that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, of course, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone.